All right. Well, never mind. This is Tengoku Daimakyou, otherwise known as Heavenly Delusion. I guess let's see what's going on this time. There's been a lot of thinking that happened last time. So I don't know if it was confirmed, but like it seems to me, the more I think about it, that it is that the girl is Mimihime. And then the boy is like the white-haired kid.
And then they both died at the end, and that was like her like in her dream when she like wakes up and she's like, oh, you came in there like in that cave thing.
That's not what I was thinking, but that could be what you're thinking. Is that what you're thinking? That's not what I'm thinking. It was just like, oh, I know what you're thinking. And then they die and they're in the cave and I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Because they both died and then we saw her having the dream where she was alone in the cave and then someone joined her. And she's like, oh, I thought I was going to be alone here. And then she like wakes up from the dream back in the school and is like, oh, I just had a really good dream, but I don't remember.
Right, I think she's clairvoyant, but as a kid, right? Mm-hmm. But I think that that's like a vision, and she's like dreaming that they both died, but then it's like 15 years or so, whatever, in the past.
No, I'm saying she's like having a vision of like her future death, which is we just witnessed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we thought of that, like I kind of suspected that, like with the white hair initially. But I don't know. I didn't think it was a big enough detail because like a bunch of people have the same colored hair and stuff. I don't know. And
there's the thing we talked about it a lot off camera of like, if this is true, then what does that mean for everything? How did they all get out? Like it still poses so many questions about like the nature of things, you know?
I mean, I think the clear answer is that Mina is like a rogue AI and is using all of these man-eater things, which are these kids, because we got confirmed last episode that man-eaters are people. Sorry, I have like a weird canker sore on my tongue. It's making me talk weird. Ouch. Yeah, so we got confirmed that last episode, and then now, I don't know. I think that's it. And then I think all of the, I don't know if this was confirmed or if it was just like, you're supposed to think this. But we were talking that like all the other man-eaters in that parking garage or whatever were the pieces of the girl that were like cut off, and then they like regrew into their own man-eaters and stuff like that.
Once they were detached, they like turned into.
And it would make sense that again, another piece of evidence for the connection between Mimihime and these things is that the power of the man-eater form is like hallucinations. It like cause, so if Mimihime is clairvoyant or has like magic dreams and shit, and then the man-eater transformed version causes people to have like hallucinations and dreams and stuff, then that would kind of make sense if the pieces that were cut off turned into man-eaters, and then those man-eaters had similar clairvoyant powers or something.
And we were talking about how, Maru could be Tokyo's son.
Yeah, that's
why she looks the same.
But then why? What the question then is like, if there isn't some kind of weird timeline thing, that like, I don't know, like there isn't some. If it happened in the past and all the stuff in heaven happened in the past, what are they gonna be showing up to? I think is the question that's being posed.
That's what I'm wondering. It's like, you need to find heaven and find someone who looks like you. Well, that makes complete sense if the things were happening at the same time. But if they're in the past, then why would Tokyo still be there in like this potentially abandoned, decrepit building? Or you know what I mean? Like,
because I guess we don't know Tokyo's power. Maybe it's Maru touch. Maybe it's something like something like that.
Yeah, and with the syringe full of stuff that they're supposed to give to her, I'm not sure. I have no idea. Anyway, I guess we can watch this episode and then maybe we'll have more ideas. Leave a like and subscribe. Let's go.
And all that stuff like with Mimihime, I don't know, like they did show her and it's like alluded.
You have toothpaste on your face.
It could just be alluded, but then there's all the stuff with the video game, like that these two are in a video game. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if the stuff with Mimihime was being alluded to, or if it was like, I don't know. I just never know whether like when we guess stuff like that, whether we're supposed to guess that, but it seems like we are because like they showed that whole thing at the end. Like I don't know.
Yeah, and they all have the little like button, the little pin thing. I saw like one on the gun, and then he was holding one at the end, and all the kids have them on their thing. So it would make sense if it's you know, everyone that's kind of escaped from there or was from there still has like a little like memento of their time there, you know.
Asura. Maybe Asura took control of the AI. Did we guess that already? I think I might have said that.
I thought you might have guessed that already. Ow. The hell?
Whoa, 2 thumbs?
Can heal stuff.
Mina is Asura.
I think so.
Asura is like manipulating the camera system like Mina is doing now.
And then like killed the human or like whatever physical body and like transcended into the AI.
What is he doing? He like focused and then we saw something like this in the first episode. What is this kid? Yeah. Did the cable go back and then plug into the back? No.
Ah! Very casual.
We didn't teach them this. Like, she's clearly has a crush on him. Asura. Whoever killed Asura? He thinks somebody killed Asura? Why does he think somebody killed Asura?
I don't know. Maybe he thinks that they were gonna... Oh.
English.
Oh. Last.
Does she notice that, like, maybe Tokyo's pregnant or something?
Maybe.
Just, like, notice, I don't know, some development or something?
Oh, they did find that.
I feel like this episode's gonna end with like a pretty big reveal. I'm getting that feeling.
Something about the facility and like what they're actually doing for
like
once.
These guys are gonna connect something explicitly, I think. I feel like they just said something that we needed to listen to. Right, yeah. He got a tooth knocked out, I forgot.
It's what I always wish I could do.
So that means he is like a man-eater. Maybe he's literally a man-eater right now, but he just is in a human form.
I think that if he is Tokyo's kid, it's the same thing of like he just has an ability, a certain ability that maybe reflects what he would be if he went full man-eater mode.
Yeah.
Oh, they have a little solar power battery charger.
I'm getting some flashbacks to that new internet historian video about the squeeze. Somebody else is already picking it. He's clearly just also, yeah. It's so funny to me how like friendly people are in the apocalypse. It's such a funny take. Did he like collapse this place on purpose?
Oh no.
I wonder if she gets like a period. Like, would she know have any prior knowledge of anything like that?
She's just so funny the way that she talks.
She can see the remnants of Asura. Oh, I see just a floater.
That'd be so goddamn creepy. That's so creepy. What are they gonna do to Tokyo?
Well, I mean, if Maru is Tokyo's child, then Maru's gonna be born, but we're about to find out probably what happened to Tokyo. I'm still skeptical that this is like past and present. I'm still skeptical.
Not some sort of weirdness going on.
It might be future past or so, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I know.
I know
what you mean.
I'm skeptical of that because it's being presented so clearly now as that. Okay. This guy's weird. Drives away. He's literally about to drive away. Oh, could you stand back? I'm just gonna back up real quick. Speeds off into the distance. Is he closing the door? Like to the building?
Okay. It's not like anyone was using the road.
No.
Okay, buddy.
That's impossible.
Most annoying.
Oh, he keeps saying that because he's an information broker. Ichi?
Or may have not.
It changed the seasons.
Almost it just happened at the same time that all this other stuff was happening.
Yeah, did like multiple things happen at once? Maybe the people of heaven predicted what was going to happen. I mean, that's probably the closest thing, the aliens, if you consider Asura an alien. Whoa!
That's like in the drawing too of like there was some stuff like that flying through the air.
How does nobody remember? It was 15 years ago.
But if, say, the facility was a secret and then just, like, natural disasters started happening and you only live in one part of the world and there was no communication, how could you know?
But, like, these people were right here. It's just crazy how nobody, like, saw... It's like, oh, all these earthquakes and all this stuff started happening. It's like, nobody has any idea. It was 15 years ago. The walled town. I love he gives information like he's a ritual. Wait, what?
Is this true?
What is that picture in the back? That painting behind her. What the hell? What? This can't be the same thing.
I think this is a different thing.
Fell pregnant. Is this legit?
Jesus.
This guy's a hustler. He's just making up stories. Yeah.
It's fake.
He's just making up random insane stories. He's passing it off as information.
He doesn't know anything about him. Oh. To block the sign?
Taka. Takahara Academy.
He just saw that and wanted to lure them in and steal all their money.
Yeah. There must be like a hidden entrance.
Mm-hmm.
Takahara.
Almost as like a separate
branch
thing, yeah. There could be like a secret entrance somewhere. We got a drawing.
Hell of patience. What?
人かいれば我慢はある。あ、この回も高原学園だったのか。こっち。また変な鳥のマークかよ。でもこれはここのマークを真似た落書きっぽいのかな。
なんとなくだけど、ここは俺の目的地じゃない気がするな。同じ顔のやつもいないし、銃についてたマークを渡ってこんなところにつけたから興奮したけど、目的地と銃に何の関係もない可能性も結構あるよ。何これ。
高原学園孤児院みたいなものだったらしい。しかもその案内の中で世の中のことを我慢地獄と書いて、地獄の反対は丸くん。
天国。
マークとこの学園を天国として追っていく価値はあると思うよ。チラシによれば高原学園は2施設と18
2 facilities, 18 branches.
2つある施設ってのが怪しい。
茨城と奈良。寝床に使えそうだけど、今日はここに泊まる？
いや。
Yeah, listen, I don't want to sleep here.
What's that painting?
トキオ君の妊娠が発覚しました。そこが問題じゃない。それより相手は誰なんです？調査中です。性の概念も区別さえ教えず育てたのに、丹波で
Final moments. Well, maybe that's your fault for not. Wow, we didn't teach these children anything.
But if they're inorganic life forms is the idea. Like if they're created, then you know they wouldn't expect to have to, or that I don't know why. Yeah, it's weird. Like too, it's weird that they would be surprised that like kids would be learning about that naturally. Like it's an instinct, right? So if they're not human at all, then I guess that makes sense. But they're also being taught, like they know people, you know. Like if it was just the machines, then that'd be one thing.
Yeah.
But like even just the subtle cues of like the director being a woman and stuff like that, like these like implicit things. If there's any humanity in them, they should expect as researchers that they would develop this way, like.
I think that it would be even more relevant if they didn't view them as human and they weren't human, because isn't the goal of like every specific like humans make those. And there was a drawing of them that was up, I think, in Tokyo's room.
And he was drawing the whale. Kono was drawing the whale first. Yeah, that one in the shower cap must have been the one that gave them all the stuff.
Yeah, I think so. I was just gonna say that too. Anyway, what I was gonna say is that even if they weren't human, then wouldn't it be even more so that they would have like a natural instinct to reproduce? Like humans choose all the time, like, oh, I don't want to have kids, but like most other animals do.
Well, we do as a consequence of our society and a bunch of other external factors. Yeah, so if you leave people to their own devices without all that, I think it's more likely that they would reproduce.
Yeah, so that's why I'm saying that these scientists just kind of fucked up, you know?
We don't know how much they did, is my point. I guess that's why I'm talking about it like this, is because we don't know the nature of these kids, how much man-eaters are derived from humans, or whether they're made in the image of humans and they're fully inorganic. Like, if man-eaters are, like, you know, you take the genes of, like, humans, mess them up a little bit, and like, other animals or something, maybe with some crazy, like, Evangelion-esque, like, you know, gene manipulation or something, like, you know, and then it creates like a person or like a quasi person that's not really a person. You're still taking the genes from people, so you should assume, if you're a researcher doing that, that they would be like that. But if they're fully like a separate creature, then like, I don't know. You see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying. I guess the thing is as well is that Mina has been hiding things from them. So like they haven't seen a bunch of stuff that's been going on the security cameras, so they're probably surprised, mostly because like they didn't see any like suspicious behavior at all.
They've seen traces of it, but they haven't seen, you know, Mina's clearly been manipulating things, and basically confirmed that Mina is Asura.
Yeah.
And Asura is like doing all this to herald either the end of the world, like the end of civilization. It seems like more and more everything we're getting is like this is the past.
Yeah.
And then the Maru and Haruki are the present.
Mm-hmm. It is interesting though. I'm still curious as to what the goal of this facility is, because they're talking about like, oh, now this, like the final hour of whatever this, like they're talking about it like this experiment is kind of coming to a close.
I think this is what I was mentioning, where there's some prediction of the end of the world, and they're doing all of this maybe as a form of defense, or of like maybe if there is an alien invasion, or if there is like they maybe it's like it's a deterministic thing, maybe like they did whatever they realized, okay, the world is going to come to an end at this point. We need to develop like people who are going to be able to survive that, I think.
Yeah, and it's interesting as well with, you know, all the different theories and stuff. It's like, oh, if there's like an asteroid or there's aliens or whatever it could be. And I'm wondering if it could be some kind of asteroid or something that like messed everything up, and like people who got kind of contaminated by it turned into man-eaters or something, or like they saw it coming and then like somehow like collected a piece of it or something and use that to do this. But I really don't know. Like, because yeah, if man-eaters are synthetic or whatever, but like why do they look like that? Who made this? Why do they have that little like thing inside of them, you know? And it seemed like the scientists didn't really know about that either. Like,
yeah, they were very surprised.
They were really surprised. So it's not, because like, you know, you could think of like, oh, it looks like a little rock or something. Did they find that and like implant it in something and it grew, but clearly not, because they didn't know what it was. It's interesting. And yeah, the fact that if they aren't human really, but they must be to the extent that like they can still have kids. They're like I don't know if like it was just a full-on man-eater. They don't seem to really reproduce. As far
man-eaters?
Yeah, like as far as we've seen, we haven't seen any baby man-eaters around, other than like those little ones that were like severed limbs of a person that was turning into a man-eater. You know what I mean?
Can we check the first or second episode real quick?
Sure.
Duplicate. Because there's still the bit of craziness in the first episode that like a lady's child turned into a fucking man-eater, and we don't like.
Well, that one she just said it got eaten, but she thinks that that it's him or something.
Do you think this girl
turned into that fish?
Turned into the fish with all the hands?
That would be creepy. I was wondering if maybe he turned into the fish with all the hands, or someone did.
She's all like froggy, but she all climbs around and stuff. I think that's probably the most likely.
And it's interesting as well
because everyone would presumably have their own form.
Yeah, well, that's what I was wondering about. Like Asura is telling, like, oh yeah, like basically describing all of these creatures.
I don't think that it was Asura describing all of them.
Yeah, and then Asura was like, oh no, you need to think of ideas for yourself.
I think that Asura was helping Kona to awaken his own form of like whether it's clairvoyance or just deeper understanding, and then he's like imagining these things, but he's not actually imagining them. He's like a conduit for information.
Yeah, but what I was saying is that it seems like Asura is kind of this all-knowing being that seems to know like the past,
you
present,
think that Asura
and
is
future.
transmitting those visions?
Not necessarily, but I think that Asura has access to the same information, if not more, than all of the kids do. Like all of them have like something to a varying degree, you know?
Is this her?
I wouldn't think so.
Probably not. Why would this lady be
having a kid
have a bed and breakfast?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. We see a picture of her when she's younger. I was just looking, like, maybe there is some connection, like, in the last 15 years. Maybe she was, like, the director here, and then she goes and does this. And she looks a little bit more tan because she's not in this like lab all the time.
Yeah. That could make sense if she, like, knew, I don't know. But then you'd think she'd be shocked at seeing Maru, who looks, like, identical to Tokyo.
That's true. That's true. I just was thinking about this. I also just want to see that thing again.
That's fun.
I mean, at this point, it seems pretty clear more what's going on. These kids are all experiments. They're all they're all in one way or another potential man-eaters. Mm-hmm. And this is in the past, right?
Oh, yeah, look at those pictures.
Oh, it's like an asteroid, and then all the things flying, and then whales flying in the sky. All of these 4 kids connected by heads. Well, it looks like maybe another man-eater, another something. And then there's like this, again, this seraphim egg, angel's egg with twins in it.
What if they're actually not looking for Tokyo, and what if it was twins, and Maru has like a twin instead, and it's just a fake out that Tokyo looks identical, but it's not Tokyo. This is him and Tokyo's babies and they're twins, and maybe like. And, like, I don't know what the shot will do. Maybe they, like, froze one of them or, like, did something. Mm-hmm. I don't know. And then he needs to, like, do that to, like, wake the other one up, or I'm not sure.
Yeah,
what that means.
I think that's that would be a huge reveal. I think that's actually likely.
That would be cool, because then I'd feel sad, though, if I figure that out, because
it's a huge spoiler. And then I wanted to see if this bird was, like, reminiscent of
anyone.
Yeah, like any characteristics of anyone. Maybe the kid who's, like, super athletic. But there's no real way to tell.
Yeah.
Because there's not like a weird little quirk
is it
for
going
this
to be
one.
that every man-eater that we've seen is one of the kids?
I think that's it. I think that once we're going to get to the end of it, we're going to see maybe them all transform, or them all like exhibit, like over time we'll see them exhibit like something. And then every man-eater will be.
And then it is weird though, because it seems like some of them just the disease catches up to them before. And then also what is the guy's name, the guy that does the drawings? Kona. What is his deal that he thinks that someone killed Asura? Is it because, like, he thinks that they were going to do something to Asura? Or
maybe he's just in denial, and it's that simple.
Or he doesn't understand how Asura was, like, flying through the air, you know?
Yeah, because he just saw Asura hanging there. Right? Like, he can't see all, like, I think maybe that's what Mimihime's thing was about, is that she can see all the weird shit. Not everybody can see all the weird shit. Maybe not, but, like, then there's, I wonder then what all the flying around, like, everyone apparently saw those things flying around that looked like Asura before shit went down.
Was that just, like, the precursor to the end of the world before whatever was released, or...
Is that just Asura, or is that all the spirits of all the kids?
That there's 2 facilities. So there's another facility where potentially similar stuff is happening.
Maybe one of the twins went to one facility and one of the twins went to the other facility.
I guess it just seems like the birth of them happens around the same time that everything goes to shit.
Yeah.
And the facility probably got fucked up or something during that time.
That is true.
I don't really know. Yeah.
Yeah, these assumptions of these researchers is what is really puzzling, and that's what gets really confusing. Because if they were worth anything, they would assume that there would be some kind of sexual awakening or sexual. Or
just given the thing that they clearly can reproduce, they should have probably figured that out by some.
But maybe they can't. Maybe that's why they can't. Maybe they're not supposed to.
Okay, here's what leads me to believe that they knew that they could, is because they aren't like, oh, I had no idea that they could get pregnant. It's, oh, we didn't teach them how to get pregnant. How did they do that? It's not like, oh, I didn't know that these creatures could reproduce. It's, oh, where did they get the idea to be doing that? You know what I mean?
I think it's a crisis that, I don't know, yeah, maybe. It's more of a crisis that Tokyo is pregnant, not a surprise that she could get pregnant, I guess. Yeah, you're right.
That's what I'm saying. It's like at every turn, these researchers seem surprised at the kids doing just like normal things that they're just like trying to figure out because no one's told them about it.
Okay, what I keep trying to communicate with you is it more likely that these researchers are fucking stupid, or is it more likely that there's something that they're surprised by something, is my point. Like, you keep going back to this thing of like, oh, well, they're just so dumb. How could they be so incredibly dumb to not expect this? It's like, there must be a reason. I'm trying to say there must be a reason why they are thinking this way. There must be some kind of assumption or some kind of reason to make that assumption that makes sense. It's not just like, oh, these guys are complete fucking morons. They had no idea that this would happen, and they should have. There's no reason why they shouldn't have. There must be a reason why they expected this not to happen, other than they didn't teach them. Mm-hmm. Like, you know. Because if this facility is this advanced, how the fuck did they get this far? You know, raising all these children without thinking that at some point they would be experimenting. Mm-hmm. You know, like that's just a part of development as a human, and they're like young teenagers. So you're saying like they're dumb as fuck for not thinking that. I'm saying there must be a reason why they didn't make that assumption. To be clear, do you not think that that's the case? Yeah,
and that's what I was talking about before, that Mina is like they're not seeing the full picture because Mina is like blocking stuff out, so they don't think they don't like notice the gradual progression towards that direction.
But they did notice it. The guy saw you know, kids kiss. They've been seeing these two girls like making out.
But
constantly.
I guess if they saw that was the extent of it, and they were like, oh, nothing can happen from that, so it's fine.
That just seems unlikely and dumb as fuck. That seems like, you know, if anybody's watching that and your whole job is to watch and track the progression of these kids, like to see them, you know, getting intimate with each other, and then to be like, oh no, that won't progress at all, and then not, you know, assume nothing more, not make any note of it, not like investigate it at all, not, I don't know, do anything. Mm-hmm. That just seems stupid. It seems stupid and not likely.
What's also interesting is that there was all these like whatever 18 or 15 branches of this orphanage school thing that I
think it's just an academy.
They said it was like an orphanage.
Did they?
Yeah, well, they were like, oh, what? Like, you would come here and like, even if you weren't an orphan, you could like be like, it would be like.
That's just what a school is. Like, yeah, I guess an academy, somewhere you live and somewhere where people counsel you on your future. And
I guess they were just comparing it to that because they
live in this world. Yeah. So they're saying like, oh, because Haruki grew up in an orphanage.
Yeah. Anyway, what I was going to say is it seems like potentially these like normal ones were kind of like a cover up for what was going on in the facility, or like a way to make money. Like, I
don't think so. I think that it's probably just a high level academy, and it was probably a high level premier academy that like had a couple research facilities that were like, you know, the place where all of these, because there's people speaking English coming in and people, so they probably all just like put their resources in this one place, and this one big academy had the resources or the setup to do it in the first place when they started.
Yeah, and if people were there from different countries and stuff, like was this more of a global effort? Like if we're saying they were trying to prepare for something,
I think that's literally what was being communicated this episode.
Yeah,
by the English speaking people.
Yeah, it's just but it seems like the public obviously didn't know about it, because or else people wouldn't maybe be as confused of the.
Well, yeah. If these people, this of all the world's governments realized that there was going to be some world-ending catastrophe, they clearly didn't communicate what that was. But then they started preparing for it by, you know, developing these kids, or developing the science behind creating man-eaters or resilient people, or whatever you want to say. Because the was it the New World, or was the Natural Health, when they were going through that place, there was like when Haruki picked up the thing at the top of the page, Natural Wealth Operation or New World Order. So maybe that's a double entendre. It's like this is the front-facing thing, the natural wealth operation, where they just are research. It's like a foundation that's researching like human development and genes and stuff like that, and like trying to cure diseases and stuff. And they're using, you know, gene manipulation and kids, and it's just a research facility. But we see on the inside that there's these people from all over the world. There's all these like, you know, screens all over the place, people like Skyping in from all over the place. And yeah, it's all, NWO also means New World Order. So they're probably like a secret multinational government society, all the world leaders, all the world researchers coming in to research this one thing because they know a truth that they can't share with the public. It's coming, and then it came, and maybe it's two separate things. The disaster came, and the man-eaters like exploded out, and now the man-eaters are all over the place. So not only do we have the change in seasons and the destruction of the world, like this 2012 type incident, but we also have the man-eaters flying all over the place.
Yeah. Well,
and they're not actually the same thing.
Yeah. Well, what I was also going to say is like, I think that there was two things that happened at the same thing. I think the man-eaters like contributed to this apocalypse type situation, but I don't think that they were the only cause of it. Like, I don't think just the man-eaters existing or being released or whatever like completely threw the entire world off its axis and like changed the seasons.
Yeah.
I think that was a separate thing. Whether it was from, something from space coming in, like an asteroid, or whether it was just global warming or like environmental factors that eventually were catching up and people were trying to like, you know, make these humans that could survive in like the new world that like got all messed up and everything. It's hard to say what it could be, because in the last 15 years, like past that, like right now the environment seems relatively stable, you know, like
it seems like that to us, but the seasons are like the winters are longer, it's like a Game of Thronesy type world.
And also, what I was also going to say is we're just in Japan still, so we don't know other places in the world could be completely underwater, or like, and we've seen places in this where like the water level is so high, so that means there's probably some serious ice cap meltage that happened.
Are you thinking of this show, or are you thinking of Evangelion and or Seven Seeds?
No,
did that happen in this one?
This happened. Remember, they like went on that little raft and paddled across.
I thought that was just like a river that they had
No,
to
there was
cross.
like the buildings that were all in there. They were talking about that. They were like, "Oh yeah, this used to be like."
Because of tsunamis and stuff like that. Yeah,
everything got all destroyed.
Right. I remember.
And I think also that just, you know, all these natural disasters split people up and kill a bunch of people, and then all of a sudden there's these alien things running around. I can see how there was a lot of theories as to what happened, and I'm sure that probably at some points various militaries were activated trying to, you know, combat the man-eaters and stuff. So that could explain like the war thing as well, if people saw that. And it's just, everyone's just going on what they saw, but there was no real definitive answer anywhere. But I do think one of the most interesting things actually is that there is no governing presence. It's not like, you know, in The Last of Us where they have the zones or just the government.
Fedra,
Fedra, or something that is the remnants of the government previously. Or like a new government that has sprung up and is controlling everyone. Like, people can just do whatever they want. You can own a little bed and breakfast in the middle of nowhere, or you can, you know, scrounge around and, you know, meet up with different people, and people are all just kind of doing their own thing.
Yeah.
So that's something that is really interesting, especially if, you know, the whole heaven place was like a government thing, and they, you know, had way more of an idea of it than anyone else possibly could. But they either just didn't want to seize control, or they couldn't for some reason, you know?
Who didn't? Or
like,
what, the government wanted to seize control?
Yeah.
I think it just fell apart. That's why I think it's like that's why I made the connection to the New World Order. It's like the world governments are just like institutions that are just like, they just kind of manage the day to day. But like the whole thing with the New World Order is it's like they're an underground thing that's like stronger than that. They're like, like a communal human effort of all these people, these like elites that are, you know, have like it's like a stronger foundation, because it's not based on a country or on the one area. It's like they're focused on like humanity and investing all this stuff into humanity. So I think I don't know any clearer way to illustrate like a New World Order type thing than NWO, Natural Wealth Organization, or what operation. That's clearly like a little dog whistle-y type thing. And then Takahara. What does Takahara mean? I don't want to Google exactly Takahara because I'll probably just get spoiled. I won't do it because I don't want to get spoiled, because it's probably just going to give you the name of that. Takahara. Taka means hawk. I don't know what hara means in this case. Does it mean home? I don't know. Place or something? I don't know. And then there's this weird painting that we can't get like a full look on. It looks like there's a guy. There's a guy with like a sword.
Is it a sword? Or...
He's got a sword on his hip, and then he's got like a pole.
Huh.
And this is like clearly a big image for them because it's like behind the it's like behind the director, and there's a man and a woman, and they're in the clouds. Is it just meant to represent that like they are the men and women that are in the heavens above everything else, like sort of managing? Or is that Mary and Joseph? Because the woman looks to be pregnant. She's like holding her belly kind of. And the guy is, yeah, like poking down. He's got like long hair. He's got what looks like a sword on his hip. Maybe it's not Mary and Joseph, but it could be. And they're like, oh yeah, it's like they're in the heavens. The light of the sun is like shining down and radiating them. And she's pregnant, and he's like toiling away and poking down, like kind of managing people or something. Like it's a weird Mary and Joseph, and also just they're the New World Order, like sort of manipulating the world below the heavens. And they're in heaven, right?
Yeah.
So that's a weird picture. And yeah, there's these people from all over the world conferencing in. I think that's it. I think this episode gave us a lot more answers. And I think that's the clear thing. It's these people. That's why they say the final hours. But maybe it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Maybe there's like some alien technology or alien something, like you said, like they got hold of something from an asteroid. That's why like the rumors of an asteroid impact. Maybe those three things are like stages. Yeah. There was like, maybe people say it was an asteroid impact, or then people say it was aliens, or then people say it was like just all natural disasters. Maybe an asteroid hit. They found something from the asteroid that was from aliens or from some sort of alien genes or alien influence of some kind, some sort of outside influence that came in from the asteroid. So that's the alien component. And then from that, this whole natural disaster thing came about. So like maybe they think the New World Order, they think like we will use this to like manipulate. Because maybe like tapping into that, they figured from what they got, maybe they were like, they got some insight or a prophecy of some sort that the world was going to end at this time. So then they use that to try and stop the world from ending, but then it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, and they create Asura, who lets loose all this shit, and that's what causes the world to end.
And why was Asura like that? I feel like is a question. Was Asura like one of the first ones that they, I think so, experimented on, and they put
Asura was the first one.
Oh, they said that?
I think they did. Yeah, okay. I'm pretty sure they did.
All I know is that Asura was in like the oldest age group.
Yeah,
and like Tokyo is in like the next,
Tokyo's in the one under. Because Kona and Asura.
Yeah, and it was like, Kona's the only one left in his age group now.
Yeah. I think Asura was like either the first, definitely they said the best one, but I'm pretty sure they insinuated that it was like the peak one. So if Asura is like the main distillation, and then everybody else is like a fragmented one, and maybe that's why there's a lot more man-eater people around all over the place. Because like it just like disseminates, and it spreads, and it goes down and down and down. And if Asura is maybe... there seems to be a lot of people, like a lot of the powers are like they're a conduit for like a higher order. Like, Asura is or Kona is like getting visions, and Mimihime is getting visions. Everybody's like, a bunch of people are kind of like, they're getting something from somewhere else, and maybe that's what Asura is like, a conduit to this, like, maybe it's in like an alien hive mind or some kind of like grander metaphysical force of nature that is like sort of compelling things to happen in this way or something. Or like, say they did get this one piece of like alien material or something, and Asura is like the first distillation or like the first creation out of that. Maybe just like it's these kids' instinct to have sex and procreate because they're partially human. Maybe it's also Asura's instinct to spread the man-eater thing. It's like it's a biological thing where like Asura is sort of specially or racially like this type of creature, this alien type of creature, or this, sort of life form, and spreading that as much as possible by, giving these kids who have a piece of it chance to have sex and get pregnant and stuff like that. And then collapsing this whole situation so that it gets out into the world, and the king of hotels and stuff like that, like all these people have a nugget of it in them. And that's, it's not necessarily the Asura's quote unquote evil. It's just that it's another type of life form type thing, Yeah.
Yeah. And the fact that Asura is not just hiding what they're doing normally, like with Mimihime, she didn't send that picture of her in the shower, but it's somehow someone took a picture of her in the shower and then sent it to that other guy and then deleted it.
Yeah.
So like doing
it's like gives him a taste.
That is like deliberately trying to.
It's market manipulation
to start something, because with Tokyo, obviously, it seemed like she just always had a crush on him, and it just was kind of just developed very naturally and slowly. But then like in the other case, it's just like that was just random. That was like a setup.
And then showing the frog girl how to get into the baby room, so that she could help Tokyo get in there, so that when Tokyo got pregnant, she would have an interest in babies, and she would maybe try to keep the baby alive without, because they're gonna try and probably abort the baby.
Remember he was drawing a baby?
Yeah.
And then he drew it for Tokyo, the baby. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And then
and it was full of wires and stuff. So if that's Maru, again, with the Maru touch, like all the...
Yeah. And then, the other girl was like, that's not what a baby looks like, blah, blah, blah.
Babies have no face, yeah. So
and then what will happen, if she does give birth, if they let her see the baby, and then it looks like a human baby, and then it's like, well, what the fuck were those other things if that's not a baby?
Yeah.
Or will they just, like, kind of sedate her so she doesn't remember or something? I don't know. And it all depends, because it was 15 years ago and Maru's 15, so it seems like shit's really gonna go down, like, around the time that she gives birth.
Yeah, I didn't even think of the Usami and Mimihime manipulation. I didn't think of it like that. I guess because we weren't thinking of Mina as Asura like that. But if Asura, if Mina / Asura wants them to, that's just such a funny way of doing it, I guess is what I'm trying to get at. Like, send a picture of this girl naked and then get him interested, and then take it away. Like, to take it away and then force them to interact and force him to try and, like, communicate that with her and, like, bring that forward. Because, like, he wasn't thinking of that before, really. And then he gets that picture. It seemed like
he just had a crush on her, and then she, like, tried to take it to the next level. And but obviously Mimihime is just kind of, like, out of it.
Did Mimihime get the message, or was it Tokyo got the message in the first episode?
I think it was Tokyo.
Of, like, do you want to escape?
Yeah,
so
do you want to leave?
So again, maybe that's more manipulation of, like, sending that message and then just, like, escape. And then, then Tokyo, what did Tokyo do? Started thinking about the outside, and then went outside and then talked with the director of, like, yes, there's a world out there, and it's a hell. It's terrible.
Yeah, and what about Tokyo? Was it Tokyo or was it Mimihime that had, like, the thing of, like, oh, these people came in and saved us or whatever? Wasn't that Tokyo?
I think that must have been Mimihime. That was Mimihime.
Okay.
That was Mimihime. But yeah, that's weird, actually. These people came in and saved us.
Yeah.
These two people. Yeah. Who could that have been in this timeline?
That's what I'm saying.
Would it just be Kona and Asura?
Or would it be their twin children potentially?
Yeah.
In like a weird way.
If it is twins.
Yeah.
It probably is.
It could not be. It's just that drawing. It seems kind of interesting, and with how like complex this show is and like about setting things up, it's like I wouldn't count it out.
The drawings so far have been like 100% accurate. Like,
and
that's
that
the one.
Could be a drawing for something else. However, it's
somebody's now pregnant.
Like that.
Yeah. I bet if we could read Japanese, this whole document here would be so revealing. Because it's all
just like the way that it's worded,
yes,
or like what they're
so
really
much
trying to sell.
Little context clues probably in this.
People will listen to you in times of stress. Like from what we got, like it seems like they're like, oh, this place is so great. You can really relax.
There's time to immerse yourself in your hobbies. Yeah, people listen to you in times of stress. Yeah, that's what they're describing is just a school. Like that's just an academy where you live. People, there are counselors that listen to you. You get resources to draw or to write or to do math or whatever, or to play sports and things. You can immerse yourself in your hobbies, and and that's why they're like, oh, it's like an orphanage, but before
but
whatever.
Better.
But yeah, the only reason Haruki's saying that is because they come from an orphanage, so. That's the only context, which is good character writing, by the way. That's really good dialogue. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then there's all these, like, this again, it's like the hawk. It's a very berserky imagery that, like,
and then, yeah, the bird and the thing, but then here it's drawn almost like
the Asura with the wings. Yeah. It's a lot more looking like that.
And, it's...
Or is that even a hawk? It's just a bird with like kind of almost an infinity thing. It's probably because it's Takahara, but it looks more like a seagull
or something.
Yeah, like a normal bird, like a swallow or a pigeon or something like that. Maybe a dove, not a raven. It looks more like a dove than a hawk.
Yeah, I think it's just a little circle head. I don't know.
I want to see the little pin again, a little picture of the.
And what I do still love is that it has 3 legs.
It has 3 legs. I didn't notice that either.
That's weird.
What do you still love?
Oh, I just still love that, like, now, like, even now that we've got so much information, like, I feel like I say this every time, but, like, before it was, like, we didn't know anything, but didn't feel discouraged by the fact that you didn't know anything, and now we know stuff, but I don't feel like, oh, well, we haven't figured out, so, like, who gives a shit anymore?
Yeah. There's other possibilities.
Because it's so easy for that to happen in, like, a mystery thing. It's, like, you reveal too much early on, and then it's just, like, well, I can see exactly where the story's going, so why should I bother with it?
It's like that. Then you're just watching the thing play out. It's like it's literally, it's like a weird way of telling your story, like show versus tell. It's like you mean to show it by like giving this information in small bits and like letting the audience come up with it. But if you give too much, then you've basically told instead of shown your story play out, and then there's no point in watching because you know what's going to happen. But yeah, you're right. In this, it's like there's still enough holes. Yeah, and it's also the characters are super interesting, and like they carry it enough where I want to see them figure it out. Like even if we maybe know more or are thinking about it more deeply than they are.
Yeah.
Then I still want to see when they figure it out and what it means to them because they're so well developed. So. Yeah, I really wish we could read Japanese right now because like this whole page is like this whole page is probably a huge bomb. This is probably like if you know shit and you can read like these locations and like look up the coordinates, then you like and know where they are if you're Japanese, like in the world where they are in and then you're like
Japan. Oh they're at this facility here, but they're trying to go to like this place over
I imagine
here.
If this was in the manga, it would be like, oh my god, yes, you get a bunch of locations, a bunch of words, a document full of like information on it for like theory crafting. This is about, it could spoil the whole thing, but like it's the kind of thing where like if this is shown in like a mystery manga, it's like, holy shit, this is the holy grail of like theory crafting. And there's so much room for like red herrings and like other things to be set up and faking you out, and there is just, it's just so intriguing. There's probably so much information in there, so much like stuff to think about, but we can't.
Really good episode though, again.
Indeed. And then that stupid information broker, fuck that guy. The war theory ended in the war theory, so asteroid, then aliens, and war. Leave a like and subscribe. We'll see you guys next week. I'm Carson.
I'm Lindsay.
Bye-bye.